And that was the last I ever heard from Meghan Markle. And I have never heard from her again.
So what happened?
She ghosted me, Ryan. Meghan Markle ghosted me.
Did she? Do you think she just went, gone?
I'm afraid. Look, I really liked her. This is why it hurts. No, I really liked her. I just think she's a slight social climber, I'm afraid.
Rowan, she turned up, the Princess of Woke, to Uvalde, Texas, to visit the struggling community there after the shooting. Who does she think she is?
Well, she thinks she's Princess Diana. She's always thought she's Princess Diana. She sees herself in some kind of cross between Michelle Obama and Diana Spencer, bringing relief and comfort to any situation.
Let's dive into some of the most eyebrow-raising habits fans have noticed about Meghan Markle specifically. 13 moments that many found undeniably awkward, yet impossible to look away from. One habit, in particular, has sparked quite a bit of chatter: Meghan's tendency to stick her tongue out during public events. Now, this might sound like a small quirk, but it's the kind of subtle behavior that instantly catches the camera's eye and leaves viewers puzzled about why it keeps happening. Take, for example, her stint as a guest judge on the popular show MasterChef. Instead of leaving the stage with the kind of composed elegance you might expect, Meghan gave the audience a moment that many described as odd. She stuck her tongue out as she exited. It wasn't a quick, playful gesture. It lingered just long enough to make some folks wonder if she was simply forgetting how to use her lip gloss properly, or if she felt the need to constantly moisten her lips by licking them repeatedly. This strange little habit didn't stop there, either. In one memorable scene where she sampled a dish, she took a bite, then stuck out her tongue again, this time before even fully tasting the food, which left many viewers scratching their heads. It raised a surprising question. How could someone who once walked the royal halls of Buckingham Palace seem to forget such simple etiquette in front of millions? Moments like these didn't just make people notice Meghan. They made them question the image she was trying to project in these high-profile scenes. Official events and public gatherings, this little quirk stands out more often than you might expect. It's not just a one-time thing or a rare slip-up. She seems to have made a habit of sticking her tongue out just before taking a bite of food. Now, this might seem like a small, harmless gesture, but in the polished world of public appearances, these little habits get noticed. Honestly, she probably could have avoided some awkward headlines if she had taken a few tips from someone like Sophie, who is incredibly polished and knows exactly how to handle those moments on camera without a hitch. But that's not all. If you pay close attention to her interviews, especially the more intense or revealing ones, you'll catch something truly fascinating: rapid blinking. This isn't your average blink. It's like a sudden flurry of eye movements that spike the moment a question gets tricky, or when she's about to deliver what feels like a carefully scripted response. Experts in body language have long pointed out that rapid blinking can be a strong sign of discomfort or internal tension. Often, it's a subconscious tell that someone is trying hard to keep control, working through their thoughts, or feeling under pressure. For someone who often talks about being genuine and open, this little tell gives viewers a peek behind the curtain, revealing a layer of complexity beneath the polished image. It's these small signs, the tongue flick, the blinking, that offer a glimpse into how much goes on just beneath the surface during public moments, hinting that not everything is as straightforward as it might seem. When you look closely at someone's eyes, they often reveal things that words or expressions try to hide. There's a truth in the eyes that's impossible to fake, no matter how hard someone tries. And here's a curious detail. When people attempt to hold a gaze with total control, even their blinking betrays them. It's like their eyes refuse to stay still, showing a flicker of genuine emotion beneath the surface. Meghan Markle, known for her intense stare, seems utterly unbothered about who she's locking eyes with. Her gaze isn't just intent, it's almost predatory, as if she's sizing someone up or ready to consume their presence. Take, for example, her Australian tour with Prince Harry. There was this one quiet moment when a woman simply tried to get Harry's attention, casually pointing out some people upstairs. But Meghan's reaction wasn't casual at all. She swiveled around suddenly, her eyes zeroing in on the woman with a force so strong it was as if the woman had committed some unspeakable offense. That chilling, almost electric look didn't just stop there. Meghan has displayed this notorious laser stare on other occasions too. On one particular event, when she spotted Princess Catherine approaching, instead of greeting her warmly or smoothly walking alongside her, Meghan's expression shifted dramatically. It's almost like these intense moments reveal the undercurrents beneath royal interactions, capturing raw, unfiltered emotions you wouldn't expect at such highly choreographed events. When someone stepped forward to greet her politely, she didn't say a word. Instead, she fixed them with that intense, signature glare, one so strong it could make even a baby's eyes well up, before turning on her heel and walking away. This chilling habit of delivering silent, cutting looks has become second nature to her, something she just can't seem to shake no matter the situation. It's almost like an automatic reaction, a shield she instinctively raises. Even in 2018, when Australia's then Prime Minister's wife, Lucy Turnbull, approached her, she received the very same frosty reception. Meghan was just about to say something, maybe to smooth over the moment, when Lucy politely but unexpectedly interrupted her mid-sentence. Instead of brushing it off as a simple slip-up, Meghan locked eyes and fired off another intense stare, a clear signal that no one gets special treatment. That icy demeanor isn't reserved for strangers alone, it extends to everyone, regardless of age or status. Whether young or old, royal or commoner, the response is always the same. To Meghan, it seems, there's more to those moments walking beside Harry than meets the eye. It's as if the entire exercise is just an excuse to reach out and clutch his hand, a constant need for that connection, a silent reassurance she can't let go of. The grip is almost possessive, as though letting go would unravel some invisible thread tying her to the prince, an unspoken display of unity amid the unrelenting public gaze. During a particularly solemn event, where every eye was fixed on the ceremony unfolding, Meghan's focus seemed to be elsewhere, locked intensely onto Harry. What caught everyone's attention wasn't just the ceremony itself, but the way Meghan clung to Harry's hand, holding it so tightly it almost looked as though she feared losing him in that very moment. It was a grip filled with emotion, a silent expression of comfort and connection that spoke volumes without a single word. Those who have observed her closely say this isn't a one-off gesture. It's a pattern, a habit she seems unable to shake, gripping hands as if anchoring herself through the emotions she experiences. Another striking example was during Tyler Perry's visit. As he was preparing to leave, Meghan appeared to ask for a photo, but the moment didn't end there. Instead of a quick snapshot and a brief farewell, she reached out, grasping Tyler's arm firmly. What felt like an ordinary goodbye stretched on her hand, holding on, almost unwilling to let go. It lingered far longer than expected, leaving some onlookers wondering if Tyler's arm was still feeling circulation by the time she finally released her grip. When you start noticing these small but telling interactions, a pattern emerges. Meghan seems to use this kind of firm, physical hold to find a sense of comfort and reassurance in social settings. It's not just about the people she's with, it's about how she copes with the pressures and complexities of those moments, creating a sense of closeness in an otherwise overwhelming environment. Most people, when caught in awkward social situations or struggling to hide their own feelings, tend to mask their disappointment or discomfort. But Meghan's form of silent communication, her intense, almost desperate hand grasps, shine a light on the emotional undercurrent beneath the polished surface. It's a subtle yet revealing way she navigates her world, communicating her need for connection and peace in ways that words simply can't capture. When something doesn't sit right with Meghan, it's almost impossible to miss. Her emotions are practically written all over her face. Unlike many who might hide their feelings behind polite words or practiced smiles, Meghan's expressions often tell a different story. She may stay quiet, refraining from any open confrontation, but her face betrays her true thoughts in an instant. There was one particular moment that became the subject of quiet whispers. Prince Harry was chatting warmly with those around him, engaged in light conversation and laughter, while Meghan stood nearby. Instead of offering a simple, courteous smile, her features shifted abruptly. Her eyes narrowed, a tightness appeared around her mouth. It was clear she wasn't happy with what was unfolding right in front of her. This wasn't a subtle hint. It was a visible wave of displeasure that caught the attention of onlookers. If she feels comfortable showing such raw emotion toward Harry, her own husband, imagine the intensity of her reactions to anyone else around her. It led many to believe there are very few people or situations that wouldn't provoke such an expressive response from her. But what really fuels the speculation is the observation that Meghan's concern or warmth tends to be most evident when the cameras are trained directly on her. While some see this as simply a performer's instinct, others interpret it as a noticeable red flag, questioning the authenticity behind her public displays. At one public event, this behavior became even more pronounced. A young boy approached excitedly, seeking a moment of kindness or simple recognition, and the dynamics of that interaction, how Meghan showed interest only when the cameras rolled, left a lasting impression on many, deepening the debate about whether what we see is genuine or just carefully crafted for the spotlight. The young boy desperately tried to catch Harry's eye, yearning for just a fraction of his attention, but Harry, lost in his own world, didn't even notice him. What made the moment all the more painful was that Meghan saw the child. For many watching, this was a moment pregnant with hope. Surely Meghan, known for her charm and warmth, would acknowledge the boy in passing or at least give him a kind smile. Instead, she reportedly looked right past him, as if he simply didn't exist. To that young child, no doubt, it was a crushing, unforgettable moment of invisibility and rejection. This scene quickly spiraled into a wider conversation about Meghan's behavior. Some people suggested this wasn't just a one-off incident, but part of a larger pattern where attention is selectively given only to those who hold some promise of advancing her public image or social standing. Since, in this instance, the boy couldn't add to her status or media appeal, it's said she chose to completely ignore him. Whether or not this interpretation is entirely fair remains a subject of heated debate. What's undeniable, though, is how moments like this have cemented a certain narrative about Meghan's character in the eyes of many. For a growing number of observers, this incident reflects a lifestyle pattern they suspect in Meghan, one marked by using relationships merely as stepping stones to greater visibility and influence, and discarding connections once they cease to be helpful. Critics claim she strategically surrounds herself only with individuals who can propel her career or image upward, while turning away or distancing from those who can't serve that purpose. This perspective has been voiced repeatedly in media circles and public discussions, shaping a strong and often polarizing opinion. One vocal commentator who has relentlessly expressed this viewpoint is Piers Morgan, whose commentary often fuels these debates. There was someone who used to be considered a close friend of Meghan, often brought up as a perfect example in this story. According to many, she leaned on him to build connections early on, but eventually distanced herself once those initial ties had served their purpose. This pattern didn't stop there. Several acquaintances from her Suits days have been mentioned in similar ways. Once Meghan stepped into the royal spotlight, a noticeable shift occurred. Friends from her past gradually faded into the background, their roles diminished or erased entirely from her life. Whether this distancing was intentional or simply a consequence of her new path, it became a recurring theme people couldn't ignore. This habit of forming connections and then moving on quickly became something often associated with her persona. Whenever Meghan interacts with others, those around her hope she's genuinely present, hoping she's truly engaging with what they're saying. But many say it often doesn't look that way. Observers and insiders alike have pointed out moments where Meghan's attention seems elsewhere, especially during conversations. At a range of public events, while speakers were addressing her directly, her facial expressions and fleeting eye movements appeared to wander, almost as if her mind was miles away from the room. There were times, too, when someone would speak to her, and instead of focusing fully, Meghan seemed disconnected in a way that left onlookers wondering what was really happening behind those moments. This distracted demeanor, whether intentional or subconscious, has become another piece of the puzzle when trying to understand the dynamics surrounding her interactions. Instead of fully engaging with those around her, she was often seen turning away to chat with someone else, seemingly distracted or perhaps deliberately shifting her focus. For anyone trying to connect or share a meaningful exchange, that kind of behavior can feel incredibly dismissive, leaving them wondering if their presence even mattered. Meghan has a reputation for always wanting to be front and center, as if making sure all eyes are on her is her top priority. After her official trip to Morocco, viewers and commentators were quick to notice that she seemed even more determined than before to avoid any awkward or overlooked moments that had happened in the past. One particularly telling scene showed Meghan stepping ahead of Prince Harry during a formal line of greetings. While one might expect the husband to take the lead when meeting King Mohammed VI, Meghan moved forward first, placing herself right in the spotlight before Harry had his chance. That brief moment felt symbolic of the mood for the entire visit. Meghan often stormed ahead confidently while Harry followed behind in her shadow. Watching the footage, many couldn't help but joke that Harry looked less like a prince or partner and more like her personal assistant, trailing dutifully behind her every move. Whenever a camera appeared, Meghan's immediate reaction seemed to be to position herself perfectly front and center, as if the entire visit was a carefully choreographed performance designed to showcase her alone. The dynamic between them was a constant source of speculation, leaving fans and critics alike wondering what it really said about their relationship and the roles they were playing in public. Her entire demeanor seemed to shift in the blink of an eye. At one public event, witnesses said she wore a solemn, almost stern expression, reflecting a serious mood. But the moment she spotted a camera lens aimed in her direction, it was as if a switch flipped. Her face lit up instantly into a radiant, wide smile, her teeth gleaming, erasing any trace of that earlier seriousness. This sudden transformation sparked conversations everywhere, with many wondering if her emotions were genuine or performed for the spotlight. Adding fuel to the fire, Meghan's visit to Uvalde after the devastating school shooting became a lightning rod for debate. While it's completely natural and commendable to want to offer support during such an unimaginable tragedy, critics noted that these moments of compassion usually remain quiet, private affairs. In contrast, Meghan's arrival was accompanied by professional photographers, capturing every angle of her visit. This raised eyebrows, leading many to question whether the stop was a heartfelt gesture or a carefully staged photo opportunity. The line between empathy and publicity seemed blurred, causing some to believe that Meghan's brightest, most joyful self only emerges when the cameras are rolling. Though opinions about her intentions are varied and often divided, this episode undeniably deepened the perception that public attention is intertwined with her happiness. It left many asking, when the cameras aren't around, who is she really? And as Meghan steps into the spotlight, it's clear that the spotlight itself is a key part of her story. What do you think? Is it possible to truly separate personal sincerity from public persona in moments like these? If you've found this journey into Meghan's world intriguing, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into stories you won't find anywhere else. Share this video with friends who love a good story and drop your thoughts down in the comments. What's your take on this complex public figure? Your voice matters, and we want to hear it.